Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben, the award-winning gardening podcast as voted for by the Grow Your Own magazine and by my followers and by my listeners. I hope that you have all clicked that subscribe button. If you're new to the podcast channel, please do click the subscribe button and then you get notified of all the new podcasts that get launched. And if you're not following me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok, make sure you look for Gardening with Ben and follow me on all my social medias. So sit back, relax, grab a brew and let's enjoy today's gardening podcast with Ben. Hello and welcome back to your episode of Gardening with Ben. We are back here with another podcast after a very busy day down at the allotment today. Wow, it's certainly been a lot colder as well today. It weren't as warm as it has been down at the plot, but we still have managed to get lots and lots done on my mission to try and get loads of stuff planted before I go back to work after my 21 days off that I've got. And it seems to be flying fast now. I think I've only got like 13 days left off work at the moment. So yeah, hopefully we'll continue to get lots and lots of stuff in the ground. And it's not a fast job whatsoever putting all the produce in the ground. Trust me, it does take a while to get it all done. Because obviously you've got to dig it over, you've got to weed it all, you've got to prepare it all, and then you've got to plant it all and space it all out and take a photograph of it for your followers. But yeah, it certainly is a busy job. And today's mission has been planting my courgettes. I've planted about 30 courgette plants. Why I need 30 courgette plants, I don't know, but I've planted 30. But we'll see how well they grow. They may not all grow. We'll see if they do. And fingers crossed they do. And then if they do, then everybody's getting courgettes. They'll be fed up of me. I'll be like the courgette king. And yeah, obviously when you do get courgettes as well, you can be inundated with the amount of them. So we'll see how well we get on. We may get a good crop in from them. We'll have to wait and see. But we've planted them all, and on my Instagram and TikTok I've shared a tip on how to plant courgette plants, because with courgettes, squash, pumpkins, cucumbers, when you're watering around the stem, they can easily rot and you end up losing the plant because it just drops off and you've lost it totally. So I've shared a tip on what I do to plant my courgettes and squash and that. I usually plant it and then I sink a plant pot at the side of it. And what you're meant to do then is you're meant to water into the plant pot so that you're not watering on the plant and the water goes straight to the roots and feeds the plants, and it works very well. A lot of people do this for other vegetables as well, like tomatoes as well and many others, because it goes straight to the roots rather than just watering the soil. And obviously we're watering in the plant pot, you're not watering around the soil and the weeds won't grow and stuff like that. So it's one way of stopping the weeds growing, definitely, and you're aiming for a certain location. So that is how I grow them. And so we've planted all them. And what else have we planted? Yes, we've also planted all our butternut squash plants as well. We've planted about 15 of about 10 of those we've planted because it was a smaller bed. So we've got about 10 butternut squash plants in there, and they're really nice and delicious, and obviously they're really creamy as well. But last time I grew them I didn't get many on the plant, and they weren't ready to harvest until the end of summer. So whether that's something down to the butternut squashes, whether it's a bit like pumpkins that you're not harvesting them until the end of the season, but we're going to give them a try again and we'll see how we get on. We've got a lot of time this year for them, and hopefully we can get some good results from them. I'm just looking forward to the amount of produce that I'm going to be growing this year. I've still got all my brassicas to get planted, and yeah, I don't think they'll be ready to plant out for a bit, the brassicas. They're a bit behind compared to the other things, but we'll see how we get on. And what I'm going to do in between all my courgettes and my squash and everything, I'm going to plant all beetroot and stuff and radish plants to fill the gaps in, because the good space fillers, I don't know if anybody else is the same, if they've got any space they'll just squeeze other plants in just to try and fill the borders up and get more stuff in. Because obviously you're limited to the amount of space that you've got in an allotment, and you can soon fill it depending on how big you've got in a plot. You'll always fill it to the max, and sometimes you'll end up planting more stuff than you actually need, and I'm very much like that. So hopefully going to get some more stuff in tomorrow. The plan tomorrow would be to possibly get the leeks in, and spring onions. I need to get my spring onions in the ground and get them growing. And we'll try and get some more lettuce in. I'm needing some more lettuce to grow, so we're going to get some more lettuce in tomorrow, I think, and see how we get on with that. We've also got some other types of squash that we're growing as well. I think we've got some patty pans growing. We'll have to have a look at them and see what we have got growing, and see how well they're getting on. Obviously we're waiting for things to be big enough to plant out as well, and obviously I've got all my flowers to plant out as well, which I've got loads of stuff to plant out. I've got marigolds, I've got chrysanthemums, I've got cornflowers to plant out, and yeah, it's just finding the time to get it all in. You don't realise how long it takes just to do one bed and to get it all completed. But we're getting there. We're certainly getting there, and I'm trying my best. And I easily get distracted when I'm down there. Sometimes it's too hard to switch off. And obviously I need to be taking photos and doing some videos as well to share with you all and let you all see what I'm doing and the tips that I am sharing, because obviously it's not just for me that I'm doing this gardening, I'm doing it for everybody, because everybody's got their eyes on me. If I fail, other people will fail, so we've got to get it right and get things perfect when we're growing them. So we've got them to do, and we've also been doing quite a lot of potting up today. I must have potted up around 60 watermelons, 2 different varieties of watermelons I'm trying. One's called a Jubilee and one's called a Crimson watermelon. So we've got 2 different varieties that we're trying out. One of them is like a really long one, type of watermelon, what I've not seen before, and they can weigh a lot. So we're going to see how well we actually get on with them and see if we do get some good results. Fingers crossed we do get some, and my polytunnel this year is going to be all about growing melons. So watch this space for lots of melons coming everywhere. Fingers crossed. I really hope, fingers crossed, we do get the melons, because that would make my day if we do well with the melons. And I want to see how well we can actually do with them, and see if we can get a huge cropping of them. I've also been potting up my peppers. I'm quite behind with the peppers. They're only really small. I'm just potting them up to the first stage at the moment. We usually sow them into a seed tray first, and then I pot them up individually, and then when they're big enough I will pot them onto the final pots, and hopefully they'll grow really well. I hope so anyway. And we've not done any potting up of any tomatoes today. We need to do some more potting up of tomatoes tomorrow. We've got some more varieties that we need to be getting ready. I've got absolutely loads of different varieties of tomatoes this year, but I won't be growing them in the polytunnel. I'll be growing them in my shed. Obviously it will be warm in there. It won't be as hot as the polytunnel gets, but it'll be warm in there, and hopefully we'll still get a good crop, because tomatoes don't need blistering heat. They like the warmth, yeah, and they'll grow well in the warmth, but they don't need the blistering heat what the melons will need. So the polytunnel is going to be designated to the melons this year, and possibly the cucumbers as well. We'll see how well we're fitting everything in. That's the only thing when you're growing plants. You plant too many seeds and you don't want to throw them away, so you end up potting them all up, and then you end up potting them all up into big pots, and then the job is of watering them all. But we'll see how we get on. We'll see if we get some good crops and see if we get some good results. So please do stick around and stay tuned to how we get on. Keep following me on my social media on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll see all my pictures of what I get up to down at the allotment. So until tomorrow's episode, we hope that you have a good night, and we will catch up with you all tomorrow and let you know all what we've been up to. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcasts. Thank you for listening to today's Gardening with Ben's podcast. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do click that subscribe button, and feel free to share it as well on your Instagram stories. All you have to do if you're listening on Spotify is click the share button, and you can share it straight to your Instagram story for all your followers to listen to, and help build my listeners up as well and get more people listening to it. Feel free to check out all my social medias: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok. Go check it out. Check out my dancing. Gardening with Ben. And check out the link as well in the description of this podcast, where you can check out my gardening t-shirt shop, where I sell funny t-shirts with all different funny logos and designs on. And feel free to support me by purchasing one, and all the money obviously goes back into my allotment, where I can share more gardening tips with you all. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcasts.